Day three, talking about today. This is just kind of turned into book club for a little while, but I think it's a good thing because I'm learning a bunch of stuff, which is cool. I'll be talking about the four agreements. Specifically, going to be talking about the first agreement. So, this book is it's from the author of other books like Master of Love, and I think he made The Alchemist. I can't remember though, but yeah, I kind of want to talk about. Sorry, and I am gonna have to kind of whisper on this one because family's sleeping. But I want to talk about the first agreement, which is be impeccable with your word. So speaking with integrity, saying only what you mean, and avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of the word in the direction of truth and love. All right. So what that kind of means to me is what I want to talk about today's video. And let me just get my stuff together real quick. I was thinking maybe I should start writing my stuff down and then recording. That actually might be better. Nah, since I'm able to like place my thoughts somewhere and hold them, because sometimes they might go away and they'll come back and it'll kind of like ruin my whole flow of what I'm trying to talk about. So we might start doing that moving forward, but we'll see. Let's just kind of freestyle it and see how it goes. So, specifically with this agreement, it made me reflect on a couple things. So, first off, is the words that I use, things that I say. Um, and it really made me reflect on especially times during streaming. And I know streaming is kind of like, well, you're there to entertain and like, explain it like it's not really who I am in a sense, although I can't really say I've shown who I am to anybody. That's like maybe one person that I had sent a letter to, but that was like the only glimpse I have of like a very personal, like something very personal being vocalized into or written into the world. Cause yeah, I don't know. Just don't really have a lot of people that I think would be interested or be open to having conversations like this. Which just kind of lead me to trying to find a proper space to being able to express myself and find out what I want. But I mean, that's something for another day that I will be thinking about. But basically, today, like I said, be focusing on the words that I say. Now, there's a lot of times on my streams specifically where I'm constantly being negative, and there's a lot of points where I will end the stream, think about it, and then regret it after. So with a lot of what he was saying in the first chapter is how powerful your words are, and he even comes to use the example of Hitler, um, who somehow managed to get the whole country and hundreds of thousands of people killed. So that's kind of just an their example of the power of the word. So from what I've taken from this and what I want to do, like taking action wise, is to really think about what I say before I say it and see if it resonates with, what I actually believe, or if it's something that I've kind of been made to believe by other people, you know? And I know that sounds kind of weird because, like, what do you mean made to believe? What you say is who you are, right? Listen, I was thinking the same thing, okay? This book is weird like that. So it talks about how you are raised in a specific way by your family and mother and father. and it's not necessarily intentional, right? And this is kind of how insecurities stem or where they come from is from words being said to you, whether on purpose or not, right? Whether the intention was to hurt you or not, affect you in your life and cause you to act a certain way or not act a certain way, you know. Sorry, blood in the back is just full chilling. Look at him. Oh, you can only see his legs. All right, whatever. Anyways, we'll sing. Yes. For example, right? This is one they also used the book, which was a mom comes home from work and she's super tired, exhausted, and stressed, and everything, right? Whole shebang, headache, and then it comes home to the daughter, kind of like being all happy and joyful and screaming and yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just being happy and pure. But the mom gets kind of ticked off and unintentionally like says something very mean to the child, or even just barks a command, something like, "This is to the extreme, but uh, I don't like your singing," or "I like be quiet, your singing isn't good," or something like that, right? And then that child kind of takes it to heart, and they live with the thought of like this is the truth, right? And they move forward with that, and it kind of affects them in a lot of places in their life, which eventually leads to them being insecure of their singing, right? So obviously, this is a very kind of specific example, but I'm sure, at least for me personally, you're able to think of moments in your past um, that something someone has said has affected you in a way that has sparked an insecurity or some negative emotions, right? Because of the words somebody says. And when somebody says words that are meant to harm you and you take it personally or you agree with their opinion, it's, it's what's called emotional poison. And that emotional poison gets transferred to you and you harbor it and you carry it with you. So for one example that I was thinking of, which I actually talked about in yesterday's video, which is um, like the fat that I have here, just kind of like lack of jawline or whatever. Whatever. I don't even care anymore. That's a good thing, but still, it's a good example. There's some other ones too, like personally, like my hair is one thing that I always struggled with. But again, I had to think, and I was able to be accepting with the present and being okay with who I am and what my father and mother gave me, you know, like my face, my everything. So, but I had to really think about, or this passage specifically made me think about where it even started or where it came from, right? And I realized that, and it was to no intention by my friend. Um, it was, I was kind of jokingly doing like a, like a mewing thing, which is kind of stupid or whatever. And I was told like, uh, I could be a model if I wanted to by a family member. And so I was like jokingly like, oh, what if I could be a model? And I was like, flexing my jawline and stuff like that, right? Just being hella stupid. And my friend's like, you know what I mean? Like that. Uh, and like not even intentional, but I took it personally at the time, and I realize now that in my head I'm like, oh, they think that um I don't have a sharp enough jawline or I don't look good enough to be a model, and then I took that personally and I harbored it, I carried it, and later it sprouted into um, like I carried that and harbored that seed, and then it sprouted into insecurity, right? Um, and to the point where it's affecting me even now, years later. I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, there's layers to this shit. It is crazy, man. Like, I don't know, reading this goddamn book and a lot of books that, but specifically Miguel Ruiz work, um, I'm like, it's like I'm watching Attack on Titan for the first time again. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy. Like, that's like my favorite show of all time ever. You know what I mean? Like, I want to just keep reading it, but the thing with these books is it takes time to process what he's saying and actually remember it and take it to heart. And again, being able to be here and talk about it on a video helps me solidify what he says and into my daily life so I don't just read it and forget about it. Anyways, I completely lost the plot. But anyways, that's kind of just the way these videos go, whatever. One thing I do want to say to anybody watching this is try to be very careful with your words just tomorrow. Tomorrow, try and be very careful with what you say and think about why you're saying what you say. And if it's something you actually want to, like, for example, do you actually want to judge this person? Do you actually like want to be, uh, um, make fun of this person, right? Do you actually want to agree with something that doesn't resonate with you? Though, just anything like that. Even the words that you just say in your daily life, just really think about them. And the reason being is because they're very powerful and they can affect people in ways that you don't even realize will affect them. And you probably will never know. Um, so if you're gonna do that, I think it's best to try and do it with good intent, with love, and in all your words, and give off that positive vibes, the energy, versus potentially harming somebody and creating some kind of insecurity, even if it's not intentional, um, within them, right? And yeah, just that's what I'm gonna try and do. I'm gonna try and really hold myself accountable tomorrow on stream when I'm talking with friends, when I'm talking with chat, even when I'm talking about other people in the game. I really want to try and be as positive as possible because I don't want to end the stream with regret of saying things and having to apologize to other creators that I've harmed in the past with my words. Because, yes, words are extremely impactful and it could be for better or worse, right? So you could put somebody down and you could say you hate their singing voice and that might make them never sing again. But I also believe at the same time, when you say someone is very beautiful and they have a great soul, or you like something, um, about their character, about who they are, what they do, and I genuinely think that can also make just as big of an impact. So, yeah, maybe try and even like compliment someone that you don't usually compliment. Maybe you have that 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 relationship with a friend where it's hella toxic and but like in a funny joking way. Maybe you could try just being like, "Hey, you know what? You know what? You don't stink today. That's good. That's you actually smell pretty damn good. What cologne or perfume are you using? You know what I'm saying? Like something like that, you know? Um so just be wary of what you say because what you say and is what you put out into the world, and words are very very powerful and they have the power to change somebody. Hell, I'm bro, the whole reason I'm even doing any of this reflecting and reading and stuff is because of just words on a page from some stranger that I've never met. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. So yeah, let's try and do better tomorrow, guys. Coming up on the 15 minute, and hope you all have a good rest of your days. Try your best with your word, at least tomorrow, right? And peace out. See ya.